You've got Talk Erie on your radio, 105.9, 103.3, and AM 1530. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State, also live on YouTube and on Facebook. We have these crucial conversations that Erie needs, and we always are happy to welcome back the County Executive of Erie County, Christina Vogel. Welcome, County Executive. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I want to start with maybe the last time I saw you, which was down in Carlisle. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to get kind of your first impressions of going there, what you learned, and what are some of the opportunities at that, what is it, Defense and Innovation Summit that Senator McCormick put on?
It was impressive, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Yeah. Well, okay, my impressions, my thoughts. I would say that what I learned is that a lot of people don't know what Erie has to offer, and that we need to be aggressive in selling what we have.
Does Erie know what Erie has to offer?
Some people do. I would say there's some people that don't.
Sure.
What they are looking for, and the capacity to increase manufacturing and help with the lack of inventory that they have in the Navy are all things that Erie is really great at and can be a part of. I was just actually on Saturday at the Wabtec Family Day and took a tour with John Singleton, who is the plant manager out there. And I'd been there before, but he actually showed me parts of the plant I hadn't seen before. And they have a lot of capacity, as everyone knows. They're right now, they're about 20% of what they could do. And he said that he would love to have more people in Erie. He would love to increase their staff. They've been going the other way for a long time. And so trying to understand what they could do. I mean, obviously they're not going to build ships there,
right,
but they could build a lot of things that go in ships. Mm-hmm. And they already do a lot of those pieces for trains, right? A lot of wires, a lot of wiring, and electrical pieces that they already do in-house.
DC motors and things like that.
Yeah, and they do a lot of the engines for Hanwha ships in their Grove City plant now. So there's a lot. So anyway, it was trying to understand what Erie has now that we can offer, and what Erie could offer if we made some adjustments in a few things, if there was... If other people could see what we see, right? And it was great. We had a booth there that was in between Hanwha and Ghost ships. You saw it?
Yeah, I saw that. It was like right next to Hanwha.
Yeah, which was
that was pretty strategic.
You were right. Well, that was thanks to Senator McCormick. And then Ghost Ships is actually testing some of their ships in Erie right now in their water, in our water. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And we've been meeting since then. We have a project manager now that's actually taking this on. And we just had a 2-hour meeting yesterday about it. Wow.
The goal here is to understand kind of the broad, the breadth of what we can do. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see all kinds of ships being built either at Don John or at Gem City or at another shipyard, but we're able to do the components like you say.
Right.
And maybe it does include some shipbuilding as well.
Right. And there's so many varieties of what's happening right now, right? And it's not just the Navy. There is the Coast Guard. There is commercial ships. There are other opportunities. One of the groups that asked to meet with us was Arcboat, which is based in California, and they make electrical powertrains and they make electrical charged boats, right? So they really wanted to meet with Don John, and so there are a lot of opportunities that I just don't think we've been able to express where Erie fits into that. And I'll give you another example. So another webinar I was on just a couple weeks ago was the University of Michigan did a study looking at the Great Lakes and all the capacity on the Great Lakes. And somebody asked at the end of that, and by the way, there were people on there from the industrial base, the Defense Industrial Base, MARAD, all these different organizations were part of this, listening to what this University of Michigan has done. And one of the people on that call asked about Anduril and Saronic, which are building these, which are two kind of, names you hear a lot for shipbuilding, if they even really consider the Great Lakes. And they said, no. I mean, I think that in general, we have not sold what our abilities are. And as a result, one's in Columbus and one's in Austin, Texas.
That's really
neither of which are
so there's shipbuilding in
exactly
in a dry area like Austin.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts.
Right.
Huh. That's remarkable. It's so funny. Again, I think we've talked about how I read the old newspapers. The amount of optimism 60 years ago about the opening of the St. Lawrence Seaway and what they wanted to accomplish, and how Erie with I-79 was going to be this critical link in massive amounts of shipping, as well as other maritime activities. It's kind of so alarming how that really has fallen off,
Yeah, I agree. And I think that as we have this alignment in Erie, and we are bringing these groups together to really focus and talk about the same things, hopefully that is where we come back to. I will say the other thing that I found fascinating being there was that we heard a lot about Representative Murtha and how he built up Johnstown and the defense industry that was in Johnstown. And I think that's another piece of it. Having our elected officials, our federal and state officials, really going to bat for us in an aligned way so that we can continue to make those investments. That's another key piece. And I think also for us as elected officials, knowing that we need to continuously be there to write appropriations, to request grants. I mean, one of the things that Kim Thomas from Infinite Erie and I were talking about is they announced the build grants. Well, Erie didn't apply for one, right? So we obviously didn't get one. But one of the grants was for $10 million to improve a port in Indiana.
Okay. Wow. So there's those opportunities out there that we just have to kind of jump on. It seems like there's about to be like a fire hose of cash, kind of similar to COVID, but in the defense world. The mayor, when she was on just a week ago or so, it sounded like she got kind of hammered from her constituents about, why are you even, mixing it up with defense? They're just, they're warmongers or whatever. Did you get any pushback yourself?
I mean, there's always going to be comments online that are negative. It doesn't matter what I do. I learned that a long time ago. Yeah. But, I think that for the most part, the vast majority of the county, and I would include the city in that, most people want the same things, right? They want good paying jobs. They want a safe environment. They want to have a place where their kids can stay here. That is what we all are looking for. And that the reason, the way we do that is with good paying jobs. And we have $800 million almost in defense contracts in Erie County. $400 million alone is with Erie Forge. So there's already a lot of defense work here. We're just trying to understand how we can grow that even bigger. And you're right, there's a lot of money that's coming through defense right now. And hopefully, that is our goal, to be able to have ourselves set up so that we can take advantage of that.
One more thing. Would you hear, or how, and again, you're kind of keen to workforce. There was a lot of talk about workforce down there in Carlisle. What was your takeaway on the workforce piece?
Well, that workforce is critical. And that is when Hanwha, for example, they announced that they're going to have this additional $10 billion that's going to be invested in there. And with that is 5,000 people that they have. And I mean, community college and the IRC down there and all these groups that are already laying the groundwork to make that happen. Okay. And that is a piece that we absolutely have to look at as well. And we are. I mean, I was in a meeting this morning talking about workforce specifically for maritime industry and bringing in the MBA and the NWIRC and other partners to try to make sure that we have, again, everything set up so that if we have someone that wants to build here, and I'll tell you, we've had a lot of interest. A lot of people have reached out and they're running down all of those leads and looking for additional ones. That we can say definitively, yes, and here's how we will train the people that you need to be successful. So you can deliver for the Department of Defense or whoever, and continue to build that up.
Do you get a sense, and again, you were on the community college board, do you get a sense that we have enough supply for things like welding and construction trades and so on, for the demand that we have, or is our demand for that schooling supersede what our built infrastructure is on the workforce training side of things? Do we have to expand our workforce training part?
I think we do, and I will go no further than the quarterly breakfast, the community college breakfast, when they talked about the number of people who have applied to be in the CNA program and in the health programs.
Yeah.
Far greater than what they can actually staff right now. And yet you go to, I was at a ribbon cutting a couple weeks ago at Haysite. They have 7 union jobs, $25 an hour, that they can't fill.
See, I think that's the rub here is, yes, lots of demand on the health services because that's forefront in people's minds. I'm not sure that the construction trades or welding is forefront in a young person's mind these days.
I agree. And that is something that we absolutely need to change. And actually, in a couple weeks, Chris Groner and John Stalen and I are doing a tour of 4 different union training sites all along going down to Pittsburgh. Someone from the Cleveland Fed is going to join us, and John is going to document it because we need to be able to explain to people these are good jobs that you can do, and it's not just in the fields that people know about.
Yeah, $25 an hour is not bad
to
start with.
Union benefits.
Yeah, my gosh. All right. So yeah, again, Carlisle kind of really was a place where we could learn a lot and be in the game, to kind of mix it up with all those big players like Philadelphia and all the data deals going on around Pittsburgh and so on. All right, we're going to take the quick break here. The county executive is with us here. We got lots to talk about, so don't move that dial. We're talking to the county executive. Christina Vogel is with us here on the Joel Natale Show. All right, tiny homes.
Oh.
It's kind of
yay.
It's kind of flared right back up. So, what has happened in the last month? Can you just kind of explain what's been churning in the background?
Sure. So we had sent out a request for information back in April, requesting proposals from nonprofit organizations that were connected to the homelessness space, because that is what the intention was of the ARPA dollars that were used for this, and how they could use these structures if we were going to give them to them, what they would do with them. So we got all of those back, and made the decisions once they signed the bill of sale, I think for $1, and proved that they were 503, whatever, they were nonprofits and all the different pieces of that, and we allocated them out, and they are moving them. The last couple of weeks they've been moving. I think most of them are gone actually at this point, and they are onto their permanent homes.
The question has come up whether or not this disposition is going to pass muster with the American Rescue Act funding. I mean, we had to say, hey, we want to use this money to build homes for homelessness.
Well, it was more broad than that in the definition, yeah. And obviously we had our solicitor look at it and make sure that that's why we asked for that guidance, and when we were looking specifically for locations to put these, and we were trying to get it as close as possible. Some of them are spot on, right? Some of them not. I mean, Yuma took one and they were using it to store the goods, personal effects of people that are homeless. And
Yuma has still got the contract for the Resilience Center,
yes,
right?
They do. Mm-hmm.
For the overnight emergency shelter. So that's a direct correlation.
Right. So some of them are closer than others, and we are, but they've been sitting there for at least 17 months doing nothing, and we really wanted to move along the process and get them into productive use.
Can I ask a couple what ifs?
Yep.
Why couldn't we have? I mean, I'm thinking about. I did a report years ago over by Community Shelter Services of those Kiwanis tiny homes, and so when I heard that they're going to do some homes near the Resilience Center, I'm like, okay, that's we already have an established blueprint for this thing. Why didn't we? Why weren't these going to ever come up to muster like the Kiwanis ones
right.
do?
So have you been inside those?
The Kiwanis ones?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So they don't have kitchens for one thing. So those are not, they're not classified as permanent structures, which is part of it. They got a variance to do these. They're essentially individual rooms, right? So they have bunk beds in them so they can keep families together. Some of them do have bathrooms in there, and they have that set up with the infrastructure that they have, but they don't have kitchens, and so they go into the shelter to eat meals. So that's why those are different. The other thing is, we can go through all the steps of it. So they had these made. They didn't follow the codes. The codes that, first of all, when I had spent a couple hours talking to BIU, Pennsylvania never adopted the whatever it was called, basically for tiny structures, tiny homes, part of the UCC code. So when they go out to look at these structures, they look at them as exactly the same as your house, right? So they are determining if these meet the codes, just like your house would meet the codes.
Could a municipality though create their own code for a tiny home?
Yeah, they could have, and they could have made.
Could Mill Creek just say, "Hey,
sure,
this is going to be our new"?
Yeah, and that's what so that was the middle step that we looked at, right? So the first thing was how much does it take to complete these, and when one was how do we get them up to a code that people could live in, and then the next part was where could we put them, and that was where you look at the zoning within municipalities, and there was no interest in municipalities taking these, and we went across the county from Harbor Creek to Fairview and Corey and Albion, and that was a lot of them. They're too small. They were 720 or 450 square feet. The minimum in most locations was 750 square feet. Some were 1,000. Fairview's 1,000. Summit's 1,000, I believe. And so, we couldn't find a place to put them. And so then, because that was our next thing. How do we get them into locations? Because there are there's the city or Wesleyville or whatever are landlocked and need to infill. That was our first thought, right? How do we pair these with land bank land? That was another piece that we looked at, and we just couldn't make anything work to complete them. To actually get them to be on the property on 16th and Parade was going to be $2 million.
Yeah, that's what I heard that.
And then we also didn't have the ongoing income to make that happen. We didn't have the vouchers to pay for everything. We didn't have the support services. You know, the county is not in the business of having rental property. So that's why we ended up going this route to find a place to put them. And that's how we ended up here.
One of the indictments is that this was a lack of vision or creativity, that we couldn't come up with an answer.
Well, I mean, I think that there are a couple things at play. One, they didn't, you know, if the previous administration had actually made them to code, you know, then they could have put them in different places. Yeah. I mean, I would say we tried. I mean, we tried for months and months. We had meetings all over the place. I personally called a lot of different municipalities. I met with a land bank. I met with the city's land bank. So it wasn't for a lack of trying. It was something that was already created that you're then trying to put into a bunch of rules that it wasn't made for, you know?
Yeah, it just violated rules.
Yeah. Building codes
that are on
and
the
zoning. Exactly.
on the
exactly.
books. You want to grab a call, or
sure.
Put a headphone on. Caller, you're live on Talk Erie with the county executive. I have about a minute, so go ahead, real quick. Go ahead.
Tiny houses and everything. So the city is in such dire straits of $12 million in the hole and everything, and you had money put into these buildings, and then you just kind of gave them away for $1. How come you didn't put an auction up and try and make some money off of them?
Well, this is not city property. It's not city property, but go ahead, county executive.
Right. Well,
I'll have her answer off the phone.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Bye. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're right. This is actually property of ECCM. So the money was given to ECCM.
Oh, to the care
Erie
management.
County, yeah. So the money, it was actually Erie County Care Management. The assets actually live with Erie County Care Management. So it's them that their board had to make the decision to dispose of these for $1. There's a lot of conflation there because of just how the entire process went out, but it's actually them. And so, yes, first of all, the city doesn't have anything to do with this. And the other thing is that this was ARPA dollars. So going back to the fact that you had said earlier, would we have to pay back any of this money? Well, the other part of that ARPA legislation was that you couldn't profit on it. So we couldn't make money with this ARPA dollar, or we would have to, send that back to the Treasury.
Right. Okay. What is frustrating about this whole thing is that we obviously still have a major housing issue. Yeah. And one of the arguments is these aren't up to code, but neither are tents,
Sure.
that are these tent cities near the railroad tracks. They're not up to code either.
Right. I mean, I get it. I sympathize. And I will tell you when, obviously I knew all last year when I was running for office that something would have to be done with these, right? And my intention from the beginning was, how do we make this work? My goal actually was, there's property that the redevelopment authority owned, and I wanted to make a little village, an actual village, right? And we would put porches on them, and we would have sidewalks and a little playground, and we could have starter homes there, or whatever. Couldn't make it work.
It's got to pass code. All right. We've got news at the bottom of the hour. County executive is with us. Stay with us. It's Talk Erie. Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. And we have the county executive with us, Christina Vogel. And we're still celebrating America 250, but we're about to make a pivot. Can you talk about what's going on here?
Yeah, so the county agreed to do two different events. One was a Heritage and Arts Festival that got rained out, and it's now going to be August 23rd. So that is going to be, we have a time capsule. We're going to have residents of Erie County can put things into that time capsule. You'll hear more about that in the next couple of days, actually. And then we're going to have, we have bands that are going to be there. There's going to be a car show, food trucks, arts and heritage and
that's
history.
Out at the Wattsburg
Fairgrounds,
Okay.
correct, yeah. So that is I think it starts at 11.
August 23rd?
Yep, Sunday, August 23rd. And culminating with the time capsule that we're going to bury.
Okay. How big is that thing?
It's big, actually. We just got a bigger one.
I heard it's like heavy.
Yeah. Because we're trying to get everything in, and we want to have other opportunities for people to be able to put stuff into.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be neat. The other one was we were going to do a gala, and that was our intention originally, a birthday celebration on August 21st. And then I learned about the 100th anniversary of the rededication of the Perry Monument, which is being fixed right now. So we are pivoting and trying to connect with the United States Navy and kind of the shipbuilding initiative that we're doing. And so we are going to make that a very big event that's going to be open to the public. We are inviting both of the senators, Governor Shapiro, Secretary of the Navy, and a lot of people from the Navy. Joe Bonacci is working on a flyover. The Brig Niagara will be there. We have a lot of cool things that are going to happen there. So that's going to be at 10 a.m. on September 10th.
Oh, so we have a date.
We have a date
September 10th.
and a time. Perry Monument. The Coast Guard has agreed to ferry the dignitaries over.
Nice.
So if you want to be
Wow. I didn't know I was a dignitary. That sounds cool, though.
Yeah. And I think we're going to have lunch on the Victorian Princess.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're working on a lot of cool things. So
what's available to the public for this thing? And is it out at Perry? It's
going to be out at Perry Monument. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Erie News Now is going to cover it live.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Very cool. Okay. You were going to do reenactors. I remember you had your fellow there.
Yeah. I think we're still going to
invite him. Okay.
Yeah. I think we're going to have reenactors at both places, actually, just not at the birthday bash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. All right. And that's the 100th year of the Perry Monument, which was a pretty big deal back.
Correct.
Back then.
So we have a huge flag that's being built that we're going to give to the Navy. Erie is considered the mother-in-law of the Navy. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah.
So we're going to give them this huge 50 by 100 foot flag, I believe is how big it is. That a Don't Give Up the Ship flag, which the original is in Annapolis, and that they can roll out at Navy games and
beat
hopefully
Army,
be top
right?
of mind. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, yeah, that sounds like a good plan, and lots of publicity for all of that. Those two items there is coming up here. The not so pleasant is just the confusion over whether or not Erie County Prison released a convicted criminal or not. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah. I mean, I can try. I can tell you what I know, which is that we are still trying to understand how that happened and what exactly happened. So, yes, there was some confusion between Crawford County and Erie County. There had been a judge in Erie had released this person.
Released to not be held is
Correct.
What you're saying.
Yes. At the same time, they were being remanded from Crawford, and where those lines crossed, I'm not sure. And that's what we're still trying to determine specifically what happened and how that happened so that it never happens again.
So this is not a situation where the warden is, did a paperwork error necessarily.
No.
It sounds like that the courts got goofed up, maybe.
And I don't want to throw anyone under the bus until we know for sure, but that's what we're trying to determine is where the gap was and how do we put whatever needs to be put in place to stop that from ever happening again.
Now, I would imagine they're superseding. I mean, somebody gets convicted and gets sentenced or whatever. I would imagine they're superseding law that's in the books to say, okay, yeah, this guy has to do so much time, unless he's waiting for, waiting for his final trial or his final disposition.
Well, and how often is someone in two courts at the same time in two different counties?
Yeah.
I mean, it's an unfortunate incident that should never have occurred, and
unfortunately, I watch a lot of Lincoln Lawyer, and so I you know what I mean? Like, too many of us are watching Law and Order and think that we know all the intricacies of law. And don't mean to be light about it, but I don't want to be light about it. But I mean, yeah,
yes.
I mean, you're talking about, I can't remember, so many, like thousands of cases that are handled by the courts in Erie County.
Yes.
It's unreal.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that one. You mentioned that there was an issue with OCY. Can you again share what that's all about there?
Well, I mean, this was something that happened a few years ago where there was an incident where, I mean, it's heartbreaking to read the article in the paper about the kids that were living in just deplorable situation. Right. And I will tell you that our new, so what could have been done, I don't know. I mean,
well, what are the circumstances? Because some of us are coming at this without the background.
There was a case where these, I think there were 4 children, 3 of which were born at home with no Social Security card and no birth certificate.
Oh, wow.
That were living in a house with multiple. So there was a grandfather and a mother and a father, and these 4 kids living in a house that, I mean, if you read the description in the paper, is uninhabitable. Should have been uninhabitable.
Yeah.
With kids that were in underwear and diapers, and the parents got, the sentence was handed down this week. And when that happened, the judge also admonished OCY that they should have been done
this,
quicker. And so I will tell you that our new, I actually have a meeting tomorrow to talk with Scott Kugenauer, who is the new director of Human Services, who is looking at everything that happened to try to get an understanding of what could have been done differently, and is coming to again, work through what needs to be done so that these kinds of situations do not happen in the future, or at the very least do not get to this state.
I mean, I don't want to whitewash anything, but we have to admit that OCY has rebuilt their reputation over the last 10, 15 years significantly. I mean, it was in bad shape a while ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've been making progress. Obviously, I mean, nobody wants a child to be harmed, right? And so,
for sure,
the other article that had been in the paper with it at the same time was, are they underpaid? I think the answer is yes, right? It doesn't really matter how much you pay people at OCY for the jobs that they have. It is a very stressful, courageous job, and they are not paid enough.
That makes the recruiting part of the thing suffer. I mean, both you and your predecessor, talk about, some of these jobs just kind of languish on the county job board.
Right. And you have to balance as the county executive, right? I mean, nobody wants taxes to go up, especially in this environment. We also don't want children living in squalor with no one having any kind of oversight over that, right? So that is, as a society, the trade-off that we are continuing to make. And I mean, I will listen to everything that Scott has to say tomorrow, but we recognize that these are very stressful, difficult jobs, and any way that we can support them. And I would argue, that the community can support them. And I think by and large, the community does, but I was reading through some of the comments that people had on the articles, and actually I read all of them. And, there's both sides. I mean, there are people that defend very much the workers at OCY, and there are those that believe that they have been wronged by the same system. And, that's a personal situation.
Sure. And in the end, we have to build a better community, so less and less families are under that trauma and stress, and that comes down to jobs and education and decent housing and qualified childcare. All of these things that we're working on are about lifting up the community. And what's tough is that sometimes it's really easy to get bogged down into the politics of it all or into side issues, whereas these are the things that it takes day in, day out work.
Right. And all need to be fixed at the same time, right?
And they all need to be fixed at the same time.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't really, anywhere there's a hole in the ship, it's sinking, not to use that metaphor given our earlier discussion. But but that's the truth, right? I mean, you have to have everything working. And when something doesn't, then that's where the problems are. And so, there's a lot of work to be done. And I like this job. I'm grateful for this job. It is a lot of work, Yeah.
Talk about the land bank. We had Aaron Snippert in from the city land bank. Is Chris Groner kind of manage the county land bank or no?
Jeremy.
I'm sorry, Jeremy Blazer.
Yeah.
I know this. Talk about, the opportunities for maybe getting more housing online as you see it. And where's the critical need there that you see?
So I think the land bank is doing great things, and they obviously they have the ability to kind of snag property first before other people off of the tax sale, which is a great benefit for them. And then they can remediate. Well, they can tear down blighted property and they can remediate it. They also are working on a land trust where you can the actual land property goes into a trust, and so it stays affordable. And so anybody that's going to have a house that's built on there, that is yours for however long. And then when you sell it, you have to it has to be affordable. It has to stay affordable property. So that's something that they're working on, which I think also would be a great addition. But where do we need new housing? It's everywhere, right? From one side of the county to the other.
I mean, I was going to say some of these boroughs where they've seen, people leaving or whatever. There's blight in every borough. There's blight in every municipality, every township. It seems to me that there could be, little areas where either some multifamily could go in or some adapted reuse could go in. I'm thinking about places like Edinburgh and Union City and certainly Mill Creek and so on.
Yeah, I mean, Union City has a lot of property that the land bank has taken over that they are actively working on building back up. I know Wesleyville is now working a lot with the land bank as well to kind of go through that multi-step process of here we have property that we need to condemn, we need to remove, or we need to put back together in a usable state and then get that back on the tax roll. So all those steps, and they're kind of working hand in hand, both of those.
Has childcare come across your desk recently at all? Again, that was we had a conversation with EGRA, with Dr. Wood, and thinking last couple months, and that whole idea of the county was putting some money in from gaming revenue and so on to be able to pay better folks that are in childcare.
So, I mean, I've actually had a number of conversations on all sides of this issue, I would say, in the recent past. I actually just spoke with Rena Irwin from Child Development Centers last weekend. They are actually seeing a stabilization of their workforce right now. That's not true everywhere.
Have they been able to raise wages?
They do. Yeah, they have raised wages. I know that Governor Shapiro had set aside additional money for bonuses for childcare again in this budget. I don't think it was a whole lot, but it was something.
Yeah.
And there continues to be a need for high quality childcare throughout the county as well. Yeah. And that, So that was something that the previous administration talked about a lot. That childcare is a workforce issue. It's an economic development issue where if you don't have people that can, if you don't have people that can bring their kids to childcare, you can't work, right? And so it's another one of the pieces that has to go together with everything else.
As an entrepreneur, have you seen that really come to the forefront as you're trying to replace a worker or something like that?
Well,
or you do have a lot of single kids.
I have
that
a lot.
Work for you.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it has been an issue over the years, and I've had for sure. And if you are the parent that is in charge of kids, I mean, obviously, I've had employees have had to leave because they had to go to the hospital or they had to go pick up their child from something or their child was sick from work. All of those things affect every business. And then someone else has to be there. Someone else has to stay. And it's really hard when everything is just tight everywhere, right? And you don't have other people to pick up that slack. And if you have a sick child, you have a sick child.
Sure.
I mean, I went through that when my kids were little too, and there's really no other option, and so you just have to be home.
Yeah, and so that creates the dynamic of trying to navigate all these things.
I was someone a few months ago was telling me that there used to be at Hammett, there used to be a place where you could take sick children years ago before the pandemic, that if you had a child that was sick, not just for their employees, but their employees used it, you could take your child there. And because most people, have to be 24 hours fever free before they can come back.
Right.
And then you could still go to work. And I don't know what happened to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know of it when it existed. But,
interesting.
Yeah.
We're kind of wrapping up here with the county executive. What you got these events coming up for America 250, but obviously back to school is imminent now. We're getting into the fall. What are you thinking that are going to be consuming a lot of your time in the next month or so?
So we have a press conference coming up about Opportunity Zone 2.0 that's happening. I would say the ongoing shipbuilding and also just workforce as part of that. I'm working on a lot of different things relative to workforce. Those are probably the key things. And then there's always, every week there's something I didn't expect that happens, right? And so all of those things
sometimes
are happening.
Is it fun?
And then the
though?
budget. We got to get the budget.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the budget. Yeah.
And we're working on the budget. I'm meeting with all the department heads starting next week about the budget, which is due October 1st.
Are you required to print one, or is that just for the TV
cameras? That's a good
cameras?
question. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to ask Terry.
Here is my crystal. It's like
Because
something.
what would they do with that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
know.
I search ours all the time when I'm looking for things.
Yeah.
But I don't know what you do with an actual paper copy. It's hundreds of pages.
It's what doesn't even fit into a binder. I don't think. But all right. I appreciate you taking the time. You okay?
Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything else?
No, I think we're good. I appreciate you taking the time to come over from the. Make sure you kind of enjoy some of the summer. You know.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm working tomorrow night at the St. Paul's. I'm working at Zabawa. Yeah. I'm volunteering I'm also at the Dobler Hose in Girard. Nice. I like to do those things. I did all those things during the campaign.
Do you know what station you're going to be at the St. Paul's? Are you giving out the cannoli?
I think I'm on the pasta fagioli.
Nice. Okay. Inside. Yeah. Dishing out the pasta fagioli. Wonderful.
I think so.
The county executive, Christina Vogel, thank you very much, ma'am. Appreciate it. All righty. It is 4:53. 4:56. We're going to get break for news at the top of the hour in just a bit, and we also are going to get ready for our final version of the rookie report with intern Aiden. You're on. There you are. You're on guest one there. Yeah. Again, all sports, right? You're going to try to cover them all.
We're going to try.
This last time you did the WWE, right? Or is that this
I did,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
So, yeah.
Listen, people want to talk sports with me. Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
We'll make it happen after the top of the hour. And then, again, just a couple of program notes. I've actually got a little bit of time, so I want to see where the story about OCY is, the headline from Go Erie, just to kind of give you a clue, is OCY called the home one of the worst. Why were children allowed to stay? And the article is from Ed Palatella. I encourage you to go read it there. Siblings were found at a Waterford home with no birth certificates, rotting teeth, and no beds. OCY has been involved with the family for more than a year before police visit led to the children's removal. So you can look that up on GoErie.com. Okay, we got to take our final break here. Don't forget, there's lots of ways to listen. And I actually, on my smart TV, was listening to Talk Erie through the TuneIn app on my TV. So that was kind of wild. So, you know, if you have a smart TV and you have the TuneIn app, you can look for Talk Erie in TuneIn, and it plays. And so that's another option for you if you know, one of the channels is letting you down. All right. We've got news next. It's Talk Erie. Talk Erie on your radio, 105.9, 103.3, and AM 1530. Also, TalkErie.com, live streaming. Just ask Alexa to play Talk Erie. It is our final episode of the Rookie Report with intern Aiden. It's his final day, final hour of his internship. And how are you?
I'm getting emotional a little bit, Joel.
Please,
It's
I know.
making me sad. I'm gonna miss sitting out here with you guys watching like State Street. Like,
Yeah,
I
are
love
you
sitting
people
out here.
watching?
No, I just love the sun coming through the building,
Yeah.
right? And I just love watching the progression there. And
For sure.
yeah, it's gonna be a little different come next week. So
Getting ready for your senior year in school. So
Yes,
wow.
sir. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so well, let's get to the report here, and then we'll have times to talk about plans and things a little bit later.
Sure thing.
So what's the big headline? I mean, we're camps. Have they started yet?
we have our first football game tonight. We have the Carolina Panthers, led by Kenny Pickett, going to be going against the Arizona Cardinals.
Wasn't he a Brown at one point?
Yeah, he was a Steeler, a Brown, a Raider. Yeah, he's been around in his little short 5-year career.
Yeah.
But yeah, the preseason kicks off tonight over in Canton, Ohio.
Okay.
At the
Hall of Fame
Hall
game.
of Fame.
Yeah.
So it'll be
Nice.
fun. That one will be
Love it.
fun. But another big news, we talked about it earlier in the show, is the 2026 FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup Team USA roster has been announced. And I'll tell you what, this team is loaded. Of course, led by Aja Wilson. Who else could lead that team? But has some young bucks with her. Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Kelsey Plum, obviously the veteran she is. Now, that's huge. Okay, now, it's going to be very interesting to watch Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on the same team.
Yeah, right.
They've obviously been, kind of big rivals since they entered the league. Even back when they were in college with Clark at Iowa and Reese at LSU.
Yeah.
That one will be interesting.
They'll have to remind each other not to foul each other.
Exactly. Yeah, but this team, I don't see anybody getting past this women's team.
Right.
This is just stacked. I'm really, really excited to see where this one goes. Again, I really don't think any team is getting past this Team USA team. I'm looking here because I wanted to show there was a huge trade on Sunday in the WNBA, and that is that the Phoenix Mercury acquired Kelsey Plum from Los Angeles, and that's huge. Kelsey Plum, that is one of the biggest stars, and she's traded. It was a pretty big deal there, and it looks like Phoenix is just wanting to win now and bring that talent in. That is Kelsey Plum. So that one's going to be an interesting storyline to watch. Obviously, the Sparks out there in Los Angeles not having a great year at 11-18.
Okay.
And Phoenix, let's see where they're at in the standings. They're going to be sort of they're 12-20. They're not having a great year either, but still, I mean, they're possible in a playoff contention there.